been a growing issue in the United States. Specifically, childhood obesity is concerning us the most. With the increasing prevalence of the disease, we are called to bring our attention to what we can do to help it. Children all over our nation are suffering from obesity, experiencing physical, mental, and emotional oppositions. Science is bringing these challenges to the public, explaining the potential health problems that children will face as they mature. Nearly 17% of children between the ages 2 and 19 were obese in America, as of a study conducted in 2011 and 2012, and about 20.5% of children ages 12 to 19 were obese. According to the State of Obesity Organization website, childhood obesity has more than tripled since 1980. It is recommended that children get about 60 minutes of physical activity every day. The National Institute of Health states that children ages 6 to 11, only 49% of boys and 35% of girls are getting the recommended amount of physical activity every day, and only 8% of children ages 12 to 15 meet this recommendation.
When tackling a problem in our culture, we usually look directly at who the problem involves and try to aim our efforts at getting their attention. But when it comes to childhood obesity, our target audience is going to be a little different. Parents will be the best audience for us to talk to because they can help their children the most. They are the biggest influence on their children. They can help their children make better health decisions if they are already suffering from obesity, or help them make preventative decisions. Obesity is something that almost everyone has a basic understanding of and the risks that go along with it. According to the Mayo Clinic website, there are many physical complications from childhood obesity like type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, high cholesterol, blood pressure, asthma, a range of sleep disorders, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and early puberty, along with a slew of emotional and social problems. It is easy to see that this is a serious problem we are dealing with, and we need to make efforts to create awareness so we can potentially put a stop to it or at least significantly decrease the amount of children that it affects.
Parents, most of you are probably familiar with the food pyramid. Back in the day, that's what most schools taught their students. If you don't remember, the food pyramid consisted of different food groups such as grains, vegetables, fruits, etc. Today in school, students are taught the food plate. For those of you that don't know, here is what that looks like. The food plate consists of 5 food groups: fruits, vegetables, grains, dairy, and protein. Vegetables should be 30% of your plate, grains should be 25%, fruit should be 20%, and protein should be 25%. Now, it doesn't have to be exact, but this is a much easier way to see what and how much your child should be eating. Unlike the food pyramid, my plate prevents you from having to guess how many teaspoons of peas equals 1 serving. It's much easier to eat the right amount when you can see a visual of just how much. You do want to aim for a little bit more vegetables than fruits because they tend to be nutrient dense. For the grain section of the plate, try to aim for whole grain. White foods aren't nutritious. Foods such as white bread, crackers, and macaroni lack fiber. Complete the protein section of your child's plate with chicken or fish. Try to choose lean cuts of meat and skinless chicken for the healthiest options. There is a small circle that sits next to the plate in the picture, and that is for dairy. This could be a glass of milk, a cup of yogurt, some cheese, or even pudding. Milk is an excellent choice because of its bone-building calcium and other nutrients such as vitamin D and potassium. The most important part is to watch out for extras. Kids these days tend to consume too much salt and sugar. Try to save all the sugar goodies for special occasions.
How do you think childhood obesity is affecting our society?
Well, I think in general, obviously, as by definition, everyone seems to be overweight, which in turn, they're less active, and they're, I guess, even just with the foods that they're buying, a lot of times it's supply and demand. So because they're buying all the junk, that's a lot of times what's in the store, not some of the healthier things, just the aisles and aisles of processed foods. And I guess people kind of lead by example. If people that you see and look up to out there aren't, eating the healthy things and being active as a society, people are going to kind of look and do some of the more unhealthy things.
What are the most common health issues that you're seeing with the overweight or obese children that you're treating?
We're seeing type 2 diabetes in younger kids than we typically were seeing. There's a lot of self-esteem and bullying because of it too, which is, I guess kind of a medical problem, because then that in turn causes depression and anxiety and things like that. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, a lot of those type of things. A lot of mental health because of the obesity too.
Yeah. How are you addressing the issue to the parents of these children?
So what I do is at every well visit, we check their height and their weight, and we do a BMI. So we, show them where their child is compared to everyone else and where they should be at. And, if they're obese, then I, make sure they can see it on paper. Hopefully that kind of hits home a little bit.
The overall goal, Robin, is very ambitious. We want to eliminate this problem of childhood obesity in a generation. 1 in 3 kids are overweight or obese, and we're spending $150 billion a year treating obesity-related illnesses. So we know this is a problem and there's a lot at stake. So we know that we need to do something big and get moving on it. So we're launching a nationwide campaign called Let's Move, because we need to get this done. My kids have to get up and move. They can't sit in front of the TV. I have my girls involved in sports because I want them as young women to understand what it feels like to compete and to win and to run and to sweat. That's all, this is about all of that as well. There is no expert on this planet who says that the government telling people what to do actually does any good with this issue. I completely agree. This is going to require an effort on everyone's part. So we have to tailor, we have to have a tailored approach to this. We want to get parents information so that they can make good decisions. We want to improve the quality of food in our schools, and we want to make food more affordable and accessible.